Ah yes, the psychedelic 60s, a time of change for the magic known as music. In the UK, the Beatles were a smash hit, and over in America it was the Beach Boys who led the mighty Yankees to the win. But regardless of which team you played for, there was a little-known band that formed in Sneads Ferry, North Carolina, that surprisingly not many people seem to remember. This is their story.
Come on, buddy.
Times were a-changing in the late 60s. Rock and roll started to gain a harder edge and played a massive part in the new society. Among these in this new rising group of rebels was one who stood out. His name was Adam Edwards, and he was a rock and roll singer. Adam was born and raised on the Topsail Island beach, just east of Sneads Ferry. From an early age, he knew he was special.
From an early age, I knew I was special. Oh yes, very special. I can't quite tell you how, but I was just simply awesome.
After dropping out of high school in 1967, Adam moved to the city of Los Angeles in order to assume a role in making music, originally wanting to become a guitarist.
See, the problem with being guitars is that they have strings. And I, to this day, don't understand why in the world guitars had to have strings.
Frustrated with the string instrument, Edwards traded out his guitar for a piano. It was while he was at the local music shop that he met a young punk by the name of Quinny Ryan.
I first met Quinny in a musical store, and, well, you know, really I knew almost instantly that, he was going to be a jerk.
Quinny's attitude didn't appeal to Adam very much, but his drum playing did.
Oh, you know, Quinn could play marvelously. You know, it was just like Keith Moon, only American. And fat.
Adam and Quinny began to jam together, slowly at first, but as time moved on they seemed to be playing more often together than not. Adam eventually convinced his friend to drop the name Quinny for a much cooler sounding Quinn. It was here when they first created the Pea-Nut Gallery.
So I said to him one day, Quinn, what do you think about being in a band? And he responds, I don't care. And that's really how it happened.
Now that the two had formed together as a group, they needed a guitarist in order to make their rhythm. They posted an ad in the local paper, hoping to get somebody's response.
And the thing is, it actually worked. We got 2 responses, we put them in both on, you know, for different dates, sessions, and there we go, you know, it was just like hook, line, and sinker. They were really stupid, though, you know, to trust us. I mean, we had no idea what we were doing, so, you know.
For their first session, a young former hippie guitarist from West Virginia named William Theodore Sicknick came in to play lead guitar.
I mean, you know, I pretty much knew instantly the second I met him that his name would have to go. You know, just we couldn't have any Williams in the band. But you know, Zach just fit him. You know, it was like that kind of name that you would give to a cat, and he was like a cat. You know, and particularly he was a pretty particular fellow. You know, a really good guitarist, a little bizarre with long hair, but. You know, I asked Quinn what he thought of him, and Quinn, you know, naturally pretty much said, I don't care. And that's how it happened.
Zach, as he was now titled, was now an official member of the band. All they needed now was a bass player. The first bassist to respond to their ad was a young southern country boy by the name of Cornwallis Griafas. Immediately, the band renamed him Avery.
You know, Avery was a real particular fellow also. He was really difficult to comprehend. He always spoke in this deep southern accent. And, you know, it always sounded like he was faking it, you know. And I hate people that fake accents. I mean, seriously, What is wrong with people faking their own accents these days? It's ridiculous. Anyway, you know, other than the accents, he was a decent bass guitarist. He really was.
Regardless of the inequalities that their bass player seemed to have, the group was desperate, and Avery was hired. Now that the group was officially formed, they would spend the next 6 years working on one of the most hated, god-awful pieces of junk ever to be remembered by the world of music.
It was a fantastic feeling. It was great. You know, we accomplished everything. That, you know, pretty much we did everything that we could possibly even imagine. Except we really weren't that good at making music.
The next 6 years became the most dreaded years of the band's short-lived career.
You know, I think I remember we were in the second or third session, and Avery walked up to me, you know, during a recording session. I'm sitting here trying to record, you know, the lines, and he just yelled, you know, he just came up to me being so stupid and ridiculous. And I just yelled at him. I yelled at him like a crazy man. It was so loud that the audio was starting to crack. Literally, I had to go back and redo the entire recording because it messed up the entire track. I can't even believe I did that, you know? I mean, it's... wow.
Adam! What? Adam! What? Adam! What is it, Avery? I got the answer. No, you don't! Shut up! This type of annoying behavior would plague Adam for the next 6 years. When the album was finished, the expectations were through the roof.
I wanted to think, at the time, everybody wanted it to be Sgt. Pepper or Pet Sounds, you know. And in reality, it was honestly worse than Vanilla Ice.
The album, which had taken 6 years to record, only had one song on it, and looped over and over for an hour and a half.
We really only got one track done, just one, and I guess, you know, since you'll never hear it again, I might as well go ahead and play it. Hang on, give me a sec. That went on for about an hour and a half, and that was the album.
The album received some of the worst reviews ever written. One critic wrote, "I'd rather cut up my eardrums and bang them instead of having to listen to Baby, Baby, Baby one more time." Adam became the laughingstock of LA, even going as far as to complicate suicide. Most of his bandmates believed he was going insane.
You know, I really don't know why people were saying I was going crazy. I mean, I personally thought I was doing fine, you know?
The pressure became so intense that finally, in the spring of 1983, a year after the album's release and destruction, Adam quit the band.
My one dream of having a rock and roll band that, you know, could actually measure up to Vanilla Ice, for example, it was just awful. It really was. You know, I told him I was done then, and I was serious.
Following Adam's departure from the band, the rest of the bandmates called it quits, and for the next 7 years, the Pea-Nut Gallery remained non-existent. In the summer of 1990, a local metal band singer by the name of Adam Johnson sent an invitation to all former members of the Pea-Nut Gallery.
And you know, believe it or not, I actually still have that letter.
Adam, and the majority of the band, may not have been interested in this offer, but one member interested was the former drummer, Quinn.
Quinn told me that it was a chance to relive the good old days. What good old days, Quinn.
Regardless, Adam Johnson and Quinn Ryan, along with the help of longtime Pea-Nut Gallery fan member Daniel Pelaez, reunited the band, and even released a new album called Nirvana.
You know, to my understanding, Nirvana was really controversial at the time of its release because there happened to be another band called Nirvana out in the early 90s. And they released an album that was very similar to ours. And you know, the thing that makes it the most shocking, and I mean, you know, this has got to be a coincidence, they have the same exact track list as we do, except their songs are a lot better, and ours are, well... Alright, you get the picture.
Eventually, the Pea-Nut Gallery came under heavy lawsuit claims from Nirvana, and was required to pay the cost of legal fees ranging between $5 to $10 million. When it was realized that the Pea-Nut Gallery didn't have that kind of money, the band reconsidered and just demanded that all albums the band ever released to be burned, and that the band remains inactive for the remainder of time.
I remember the day after the ruling, Quinn actually ended up calling me, and he said, "Well, Adam, all's well that ends well." And I told him that he was the stupidest fragment left in existence. And we haven't talked since.
In 2001, Quinn Ryan, formerly known as Quinny Ryan, had his name changed yet again. This time, his name was legally changed to Clay Aiken.
You know, it really didn't surprise me at the time. It didn't surprise anybody. You know, when Quinn came out and said, "Hey, I'm gay," really, who was shocked?
Later that year, Quinn finally married his lifelong partner, Marcus Cooney. The two are expecting twins in October. Since 2002, Zach has had a successful solo career, performing with many artists, such as Paul McCartney, Elton John, and Lil Wayne. Daniel Pelaez bought a razor in 2004 and announces his plans to finally shave the day the band reunites. So far, his body hair has grown to be over 26 feet long. Adam Johnson's whereabouts, since the Nirvana lawsuit, remain unknown.
And as for myself, well, I'm just glad I can finally relax and be sane.